Morning at the Nigeria Football Federation headquarters in Wuse Zone 7 has been attributed to electrical faults. The fire, which started from the Chief Accountant's office, also affected that of the Secretary General and the President.
Well, no casualties were recorded, but vital documents were destroyed in the inferno. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, was there. He reports.
I'm here right now at the NFF building, popularly known as the Glass House, where a fire occurred, I'm told, around 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 early this morning, and it just engulfed the third floor. Now, it's not yet clear what happened. A lot of things have been said, but we have an eyewitness who was here early in the morning, and this is her own account of what happened.
You know, I came back, checked quite well. I noticed it wasn't my boss's office, that's the General Secretary, Barrister Musa Amadou, not my office. We are now checking around when we saw that it was from accountant's office. Efforts were made, you know, to quench the fire. At least the first time, people came with fire extinguisher. We had some, though they didn't really work as expected. You know, we didn't even know that it was going to escalate to this point, because even my handbag was there. I didn't make any effort to remove it.
That was her own account of what happened this morning, but we also took a little account from the fire service, who got here eventually and started trying to combat the fire. They tell us their own side of the story.
You know, it's an emergency thing, which can't predict. But a suspected cause should have been as a result of a short circuit concept, which has to do with electrical issue. You know what we are talking about. And that was the cause. So definitely, we should be able to nip it in the bud. And that's exactly what we are saying now.
Now, the place was not completely empty. We had the Secretary General of the NFF who was here when the whole thing occurred. He explains to us his thoughts on the matter, and we tried to get from him an estimate of how much damage may have, you know, taken place here today.
I have no reason whatsoever, as a very patriotic citizen, to have this fire happen anywhere in the Glass House, not to even talk about my office. The fire, as I was told when can you take it easy? The fire, as I was told, started from the Chief Accountant's office right next to my office. And I just parked my car and I was about to go up when they said there was smoke. And of course, we tried to get the fire service to come. The whole place was dark, and there was just no way we could go there. So this is not a blame game, and I don't know why people are in the habit of doing this sort of thing. This is a rather very, very sad development for Nigerian football.
God is in control. I think a human being we are all limited to what we can do. But first and foremost, one must appreciate the Almighty God for no life is lost, and we are grateful to Him. But things will come back to normal, and I believe the security agency will take on their course to set up a very, very investigative and to inquire what actually happened.
Well, a lot is still going on here right now. The firemen are still going around making sure that no fires are left before they leave the premises. Some staff of the Federation are going around trying to make sure they check their belongings, which they left while trying to run out of the building. But we got some cheering news that the Cup of Nations trophy, which usually is in the building, was not there when the fire occurred. That had been taken to safety. So some good news in all this. For now, we'll be here monitoring everything that happens and bringing it to you. I'm Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
In matters of governance, the new head of service of the Federation, Danladi Kifasi, has been asked to strive to improve on the standards set by his predecessors in the Federal Civil Service. President Goodluck Jonathan gave him the charge at his swearing-in just before the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. Also sworn in was Mr. Chima Odunze as the commissioner representing Imo and Abia in the Federal Civil Service Commission. The president charged them to instill discipline and proper conduct while carrying out their duties, insisting that there must be high standards set for those in service if they must succeed.
For any government to do well, the civil service is the fulcrum, is the center of activities. And for us to succeed as a nation, there will be absolute discipline and proper conduct in the civil service. That is why your jobs are quite challenging. But from your antecedents, your people, both of you are quite conversant with the operations of the civil service. I would believe that you bring a wealth of experience to bear as you manage the civil service. People must handle government affairs as government affairs, not personal. My observation with people from the little period I've been working in government is that a number of people handle things based on their own thinking, not based on what standard practice. There must be standard practice, and your own experience will add to that to make you succeed. But when people keep away from the standard practice and decide to do what they think is right or what they think is wrong, then of course you cannot succeed. Because we talk about bureaucracy in the service. The idea is to make sure that things are properly done and you minimize errors.
President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, the People's Democratic Party says it will unveil its candidate for the 2015 presidential elections in due course. The National Secretary of the party, however, made it clear that President Goodluck Jonathan has a right to contest the election if he so desires. Professor Wale Oladipo said the party is democratic and not controlled by one individual who decides who contests any position.
I'm not a prophet, but I think at the appropriate time, any time from now, before you came, the journalists, they were asking me when the PDP will come out with its presidential candidate. I told them to exercise patience because our party is not a party where a single man will sit in the comfort of his home in Lagos and decree that you are the governor of Ekiti State. You are the governor of Anambra State. From Kano to Port Harcourt, from Abeokuta to Owerri, from Maiduguri to Ibadan, you find the umbrella of PDP. PDP is not controlled by any individual. Even our president is the leader of the party, yet is a member of the party. I am sure that as a Democrat, he will listen to the clarion calls of PDP members nationwide, and will take the appropriate decision at the appropriate time. I'm assuring you that the NWC, on behalf of my national chairman, will follow due process and we will do the needful.
Amen. And still on politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has criticized the use of masked security operatives during elections. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Attahiru Jega, said the presence of masked men is capable of scaring away electorates or voters during polls. Professor Jega made this observation at a meeting with members of the Nigeria civil society groups in Abuja, the nation's capital.
The successes recorded in the just concluded Osun State's governorship elections is no doubt another plus for the Independent National Electoral Commission. This meeting, organized by a coalition of the Nigerian civil society groups, is aimed at reflecting on the Osun elections and to examine the preparedness of the electoral body for other elections ahead. The chairman of INEC, Professor Attahiru Jega, attributed the success his commission recorded to the new strategies it adopted, including early distribution of materials and commencement of voting processes. While recognizing the critical role of security personnel during elections, the INEC boss and members of the civil society groups condemned overzealousness and the use of masked security officers during elections.
We did observe that the civil defense and the DSS deployed masked security men during the elections and even before the elections. And for us, it is very worrying because of the negative impact it has on turnout of people, because of the fright on people.
The remaining challenge, of course, is that of overzealousness and excesses, which quite often exhibit in the field. I think one major disturbing thing for us, and I have started raising it with the security agencies, is that for the first time we have seen more